So in today's video, things are going to be a little bit more casual. Now I'm sitting at the desk, kind of going to show you what's going on. So work has been like extremely slow, and like the whole industry is like, I don't know, going to hell, and things are pretty tumultuous. Pretty much, if you don't know, the transit, basically the Teamsters, we call them Teamsters, they're like the transportation department. They're going on strike this week, or planning on going on strike. There's been all kinds of negotiations with like IATSE and all these different people, like trying to get fair wages, you know? And a lot of people have been out of work. And it's kind of a trickle down effect. And if the people at the top aren't working, the people at the bottom aren't working. So for a long time, I would tell people kind of this advice of, hey, you know, try to level up, try to price yourself out of the smaller gigs, try to get back, you know, bigger work and do bigger and better things, you know? And I kind of took my own advice and started doing bigger and better things. Got the grip truck, got some nicer cameras, upgraded a lot of stuff. And what that did is it kind of got us into a situation where we can't work on smaller jobs anymore because we've kind of priced ourselves out of that category. Now, when the big jobs come along, we can take those big jobs and we can do those things, but it kind of, all the smaller clients no longer want to work with us. Not that they don't want to work with us, it's more that they can't afford it, or we can't really accommodate those budgets anymore, is kind of what it is. So we can't accommodate those budgets. What does that mean? That means that we need to get higher budgets. We need to find budgets that are more in the range of, you know, I would say $10,000 to $40,000 budgets. For a long time, I was working in the, you know, no budget to $3,000 to maybe $5,000 budget. And I think a lot of people are probably still in the $3,000 to $5,000, under $10,000 a project type of budgets. If you're a DP, maybe you're only seeing like a small little nugget of that budget. If you're a producer, you're familiar with kind of how it all shakes out. As a production company now, just post alone is costing like a dumb amount of money. $20,000 for some projects we're doing, and you only need a handful of clients, maybe one or two, that are willing to pay these prices. But it's kind of difficult to find clients that are willing to meet you at this high caliber. It can be like with anything, like people who have like, you know, steady cams, like, or like, you know, airy cameras, or specialized equipment that rigs to a car, or some sort of like Porsche Cayenne with like an arm car type of thing. That's expensive to go out every day. Those people need to be paid thousands of dollars to go get those shots. And now with technology, people with the little DJI gimbal can go out and get very similar shots and put it into their social media video or their commercial, to the point where maybe they don't want to hire that guy, or they don't want to hire a professional editor. They're like, oh, I can cut this together quickly on my phone and put it out there. That's kind of the way our industry is going. It's sort of democratized everything, all the technology. You don't need super high-end computers anymore, super high-end. Even, you know, I'm shooting this vlog on my phone. I used to think that my phone wasn't a viable camera. I used to think that I needed much higher quality to put out on YouTube to be competitive. And I've quickly realized that there's people that are successful that have millions of subscribers, millions of views, that are just shooting on an iPhone, or maybe just using like a little pod mic and putting their stuff out there, and they're getting millions of views. So really the thing is, it's about the content that you're putting out rather than the equipment. And you know, a lot of people invest in red cameras and a lot of tools to make their stuff better and better and better. But things are getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, to the point where it doesn't really matter anymore what you're using to create. Really now matters more about the story. And I've said this a lot. And, you know, when we had this writer strike, it was all about the story, because without the people who are writing and coming up with the concepts to make these stories, there is no production, there is no movies, there is no TV shows. So I think a lot of these grips and these truck drivers and these actors and different people who are starting to realize that it's more about the content than about the equipment or about a specific job are really starting to, shake up our industry in sort of a negative way. And I don't know what it's going to look like going into the future. There's a lot of things going on now with the AI and with all this labor negotiations, and it's crazy, man. I think the people who are really winning right now are the YouTubers. I think the people who are making social media content and stuff on YouTube, I think that's really the golden goose right now. Corporate work, commercial work, short form music video, even films and documentary stuff, I think is really not where it's at. The short form and the YouTube sort of stuff is really where it's at. So that's why I'm trying to put a little bit more into this channel and kind of see where it goes.
Blasted meddling kids.
Trying to psych myself up right now to go for a run, get some caffeine in, run, or at least maybe a moderate walk. So we'll see what happens.
Meddling kids.
Just like getting the motivation to like get up and get out of the house, go out and like do stuff in the world. It's pretty tough sometimes. I met up with a couple other guys the other day and they're like, yeah, it's good to meet up with other people and just have an excuse to like leave the house and go do something. Because when we're not on set, like where else do you go? To the grocery store, or I don't know, maybe the gym. Kind of feels like the C word when everybody was locked up, Gyms were closed, no work. It's kind of feeling like what it's feeling like right now. So it's important to get out, get a little bit of exercise, stretch my legs. I notice with a lot of other DPs is they're always traveling, going all over the place for travel jobs. I haven't been hit up for a travel job in probably like 10 years. I think most of the time I usually say no to travel jobs and I turn down the whole experience of staying in a hotel and dealing with the airports and packing the gear and the Pelican cases and the carry-ons. So I think probably after a while people have realized that, hey, this guy doesn't take any of the jobs we offer him, so maybe we don't offer him anymore. But I might be open to it. I think that's how a lot of other filmmakers kind of stay afloat with the travel stuff. This little walk around vlog, I'm trying out these Ursa undercovers. They're basically like a little lab system that you can reversible. I'll put a picture right here on the screen so you can check them out. They're like reversible little stick mic thing for your lab. Seem like they're holding up pretty well. Getting kind of sweaty and it's staying there. You guys let me know if it sounds good. I just wanted to kind of show you guys what I do in between jobs. That's not really necessarily video production related. A lot of it is just kind of staying fit, staying healthy, keeping organized, and just kind of being like both mentally and physically ready for my next job when something pops up. And for the most part, all my gear is all dialed in. Both the lighting and camera kind of stays packed and ready to go for the next gig. Cards are formatted, batteries are charged, that kind of thing. But it's more just keeping myself ready to go. A lot of jobs are pretty physical in the film industry, especially like grips and camera operators as well. And if you're not in shape, things are going to be rough. If you know me and you watch my channel, you know that I'm kind of a stickler for audio, and I've been kind of on the hunt for a new sit down sort of interview indoor dialogue microphone, like a short condenser microphone, pencil style, however you want to call it. As far as labs go, the DJI is kind of my go-to now. I'm always trying to use the DJI mic, but as far as for like corporate videos and like sit down interviews for documentaries and stuff like that. Been using the Audix microphone. I looked a lot online. People were saying it's like the budget or like the poor man's Sheps. And I was like, hey, you know, I love Sheps. I love the way those sound. So I figured, hey, why not? Let me give it a try, see if it's worth anything. But one problem I'm having with it, it's getting a lot of interference when there's any kind of like Wi-Fi or like cell phones, iPads, anything like that in the room. It's a lot of interference. I'm going to need to switch over to something. I'm looking at the Sennheiser MKH50. That's pretty much just like the go-to in the film industry, but it's so expensive, $1,300. You can see if there's any Amazon Prime deals on it, and just wait for that thing to go on sale. It's always right around the same price, but that's one upgrade that I feel like I can't really get around, is having like some good audio, because the interference, it's not something that I can remove in post. It's sort of like a jittering sort of digital pattern that is kind of hard to remove with software. I feel like in the past there's been film jobs that I really enjoy, and then other ones that I kind of hate. I just kind of take them because I need the money, and I'm a little too picky sometimes. But if you don't do that, you end up getting like tons of different kinds of gear. You know, if you're shooting real estate jobs, you have the drone and you have the wide angle lens and the gimbal. Then you're shooting narrative type of stuff and you're getting the prime lenses. And it just becomes, if you're trying to do everything, you have so much kit, and it's hard to keep up with that. So I tried to kind of niche down into the different categories that I wanted to do. And like I was saying earlier, you kind of lose some opportunities, but the opportunities that you do get as far as work are kind of more suited to your talents and sort of your skill set, and also the equipment that you have. Well, I just got back from my little walk around the neighborhood. Just got out, got a little bit of exercise, had a shower, got something to eat, said hi to my wife. Now I'm gonna get into some video editing. If you guys have made it this far in the video, go ahead, give the video a like. Appreciate you guys watching, listening to me just kind of talk about what's going on in the industry and kind of some of the things I'm thinking about as a business owner, freelancer, filmmaker, whatever, content creator, whatever you want to call myself, or whatever we call ourselves now today. I appreciate you guys following the journey. Probably going to try to do some more off the cuff kind of vlog-like videos like this. It seems like people kind of like to see behind the scenes, kind of more casual stuff. If I have more shoots, I'll probably try to do sort of more vlogs and kind of document the process. Don't always have the opportunity to film on the sets that I'm on, which is like what I was saying when I was shooting a lot of the low budget stuff. I was able to film kind of everything, but on the higher tier stuff, there's a lot of like NDAs, and you're working with maybe famous people or films that are going to be released in theaters or commercials that are going to go on the air, and you can't really show too much. Whereas like if you're just doing general videography or corporate work, stuff like that, but music videos, commercials, and feature films, generally you can't do a whole lot of behind the scenes, but I'll do my best to post what I can when I can. Anyway, guys, I'm Scott Stevenson. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.